All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's been a long while. This is our first show of 2020. In case anybody, and we've got some unfortunate news. The unfortunate news is that we have no idea where Tom is. Tom, wherever you are, we wish you well, and we wish you were here. All right.
Oh, man.
I just had to go for sad music, this time.
Right?
I have literally no idea where Tom is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of puts a bit of a wrench in the show that I had planned for today.
Oh, yeah.
So, pardon me. I have ideas, right, on essentially what we're going to be doing for the rest of the entire year, right?
Okay.
It's a really good idea that I think, right? Other people can prove me wrong easily, but what if, since the 1900s, there have been 11 decades? 12 decades, right? But if you count them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's 12 months in a year. We could cover the entirety of U.S. history from the 1900s to 2020.
Huh. Interesting.
So, the last episode of this month would be our episode on the aught hundreds, And we'll do a bunch of interesting stuff, which gives us 2 weeks to come up with as much interesting stuff as we can about the 1900s.
Yeah.
Gemini's Realm asks if 12 decades a century. I mean, no, but the idea being that we would take a look at the last 12 decades, and we cover a little bit more than a century. But it's a really good, layout for a year of what to cover. And so, because there's an average of 2 shows a month, because it being a bi-weekly show, or is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
Bi-weekly, that doesn't mean twice a week.
No, that means every 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, right. So, being a bi-weekly show,
bi-monthly is getting paid. Oh no, you're right.
Right? Wow.
I think it would be bi-monthly.
Gemini's Realm has a very good point. We should just say every other week. So, since the show is every other week, it would give us 2 weeks to figure everything out. And what we would do is, during that month, being that we'll do one episode where we could have you cover warfare for that time frame.
Okay.
Interesting things about weaponry and the military and things like that, or inventions, or engineering, or
social policies, or any number of things.
we cut it up. I come up and give everybody the darkest and weirdest things that that decade
as you
has.
are wont to do,
right? And then we have Tom pick some of the categories, and we slice it all up, and we give everybody a really nice show. Then we pick one particularly interesting person or event that occurred during that time, and we do an episode all on that one episode, on that one event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could make a whole bunch of sense.
Excellent. The plan that I had for today is I've prepared a quiz, and I was going to make you guys play a game show.
Uh-oh.
Experience over zero says, looky who I found.
Is it me?
I bet it's Tim. He found Tim.
Yeah. Right here. Found
so
me.
the show's going to be a little slow getting off today because we're going to have to try and find Tom. Not sure exactly.
Or a replacement Tom, possibly?
Experience over zero asks, is this another channel or a name change? Yeah, definitely a name change. We are also live on everything under the sun right now because we are no longer Twitch affiliates.
Right.
We are
live on YouTube. We are live on Google Play, I believe.
It's live on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, DLive, and Experience asks if we are live on Plex Storm, and I looked into it. No, we are not. I got lost on that site. There's only like 8 people streaming, and I was just like, what is going on here? I watched a group of people play Dungeons and Dragons, and then you could tip to make them take their clothes off. Experience says my friend streams on there. She does okay. Excellent. Yes, I know exactly what Twinplex Storm is. Experience over
Yeah, well,
zero.
he's answering Gemini's.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't see that question. Okay, so let's. I'm gonna. Tim, do you see if Tom is on Discord yet?
He is not.
I wonder if he died. That would be the weirdest thing. I'm checking a couple of other settings that we've got here to see if I can find out. Meantime, here's Tom.
Well, he was on Facebook 35 minutes ago.
So he does have the internet, or he died 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Experience says that he thought about gaming there so that he could play games with nudity. I bet you could get people to tip you to take your shirt off and shake your moneymaker.
I think it's more along the lines of he was considering it so he could play games that have nudity within the game.
I know.
I think that's what he meant.
But I bet that he could go nude.
Oh, I bet he could.
Yeah.
I'd pay him.
Yeah, we'd pay. Get that sweet tip money. Yeah, it looks like they use essentially something super similar to lots of things that the like cam sites use, where you have to,
right,
because you can't directly pay anybody there. You have to, get credit coin things through the website, and then you're able to tip the credit coin things, which I realize Twitch is doing the same thing. Twitch is using the cam girl model. Yeah. Gemini says that dad bods are totally in right now. Yep, you should get it. You should get it. Get that money.
So I think Tom still has power, at least, because he's away on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So his computer is still on.
This is the mystery we're solving. Hold on. Is there a theme to Sherlock Holmes?
What do you mean?
We're like solving a mystery, man.
Oh, I see.
Oh, there's the BBC's Sherlock theme song.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you in a chat because I know exactly what you need to play. Okay. But I don't want to spoil it.
All right. Was it in oh, you didn't do it yet.
Put it in Discord.
In Discord. I can't have Discord open at the same time.
Oh,
with all
that's right.
The stuff I've got going on. Can you chat it in Skype?
Yeah. I kind of almost forgot we were in Skype for a minute.
Right?
Stupid Skype.
Yeah, it's working pretty easily. New AEW lifestyle, 20 caps is 20 caps. You're gonna start cam boy business at AEW. Camboy Rad Titan. And for anybody who goes back and you know, like watches this and is wondering why we've been gone for like a month. I have had a lot going on in my professional life that has run me ragged for about a month. I am publishing a book. I have completely restructured my business. I have formed an LLC and done a whole lot of stuff that has just been taking a lot of stuff. Did you not send that?
No, I did.
Where is it?
I sent it to Skep Talk Live.
Oh, I thought you sent it in the chat for this call. So
I'm not even sure how to get to the chat in this call at this point.
I'm gonna figure out how that. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, you got a good point. We could also play the Matlock. We could play the Matlock song too.
That's true. That's true.
There's like a trap remix of the Matlock song. It's really good. Hold on. Is this the one?
Yep, that's it.
This is our song in order to find Tom and figure out what the mystery is. A little bit of volume. Gemini's Realm's asking why aren't we famous yet? It's because I don't stream enough. I need to stream a little bit more.
I'm having some audio issues hearing you. I'm not sure if it's on my end though.
Yeah, it's likely because of the fact that I'm streaming audio essentially through my microphone to you.
Oh, when you're playing the other thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It slacked off and didn't come to TwitchCon. Being too financially ruined or destitute to be able to go to TwitchCon is not slacking.
Remind me where TwitchCon is.
It was in California.
Like where in California?
Changes. I mean, when I went, it was in San Jose. Experience. Where was 2019?
Looks like San Diego.
San Diego.
Because I happen to have.
I wish it was a crazy wild game
for us in Sacramento.
Oh. Jim and I asked if there was like crazy amounts of inappropriate sex. Well, in 2018, there was this really cringy like outdoor party that I went to. They like rented a whole football stadium and sent people out there. I had some data on that. I might actually be able to show off some of the pictures. Hold on. Plex Storm hoodie, that would be amazing. I might actually have some video. Let me see if I've got it still. Tim, you're gonna have to do the game show by yourself.
Apparently,
it's gonna be crazy.
Worst things have happened.
Right.
I'm just gonna have to know all the things.
What episode was that? Of the old show. Man, crazy. Gotta go through the old Skep Talk Live shows.
Oh, good luck.
Right?
Might be.
Alright, history. No, it's not in the history file. Not in the games file. Is it in common? No. Wait, did I get rid of it?
The jury's still out on that experience. I'm not sure if I'm good. I think I'm just adequate.
Oh, there it is. Podcast. Episode 1. No. None of this is right. Nope. I don't have any. I can't find it. All right. Where the hell? Well, I guess you know what? I'm gonna conscript chat into our game. We're gonna play Tim versus the chat and see who is better at history. And that'll be a good time to be able to wait for Tom to see if he's ever gonna show up.
Right.
Experience will join as not Tim.
Perfect.
You mean who's faster at Google? Well, a lot of these questions are going to be a little off, so they'll be a little hard to answer. All right. So,
out of curiosity, Udo, just real quick, are we recording today?
We're not.
Okay.
No, because cool. I've got so much of a backlog of editing I've got to do. Right.
Might as well not add to your workload.
Right. So, the first question. Albert Einstein is the subject of this question. Before he was known as a famous scientist in the U.S., what was the other occupation that he was well known for?
Oh. Crap. I should know this. Oh, yeah. Nope. Chat's right.
Yep. Chat is right. He was a patent clerk. And
yeah, as I said, I should have known that. I watched a documentary on it at one point, but apparently forgot it.
The other answer that would have been acceptable, there are two acceptable answers to this. The other one is potential president of Israel.
Huh?
He was offered the presidency, but declined. All right.
Okay, so I have news.
Huh.
I have just heard from Dr. Tom's wife.
Ooh.
Tom had a back spasm at work.
Oh.
And almost blacked out and is therefore not feeling very well.
Okay. Well, that's better than being dead. Very much better.
Yes. So I have, she said that she was going to try and wake him up, but that he's feeling very out of it. So I told her to not worry about it and let him sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the mystery of the missing Tom has been solved. Do I have a picture of Tom that's in the thing here?
I mean, no. I could probably get you one real
quick.
Well,
I thought I maybe had one in his frame already, but I don't think I do. So, are you guys ready for the second question?
Sure. You're going to get this one wrong, too.
Right? During the Great Depression, why did potato manufacturers include flower prints on their potato sacks?
Flower prints, as in pictures of flowers?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Gemini's Realms got it. It's so the ladies could make dresses out of them.
Huh.
During the Great Depression, potato sacks were often transformed into clothing, so much so that the manufacturers started including different patterns so that people would buy their potatoes instead of their opponents.
That's fucked up.
Right? It was dual purpose. All right.
At that point, just sell the potatoes in a dress.
It's very true. Okay, so here's another one. It's well known that King Tut was not a healthy boy. He was disabled and also likely had malaria. But what was the primary issue that researchers believe led to his physical disabilities?
As in what caused his illnesses?
Gemini's realm. Okay. Experience, what you got? Gemini's realm says multiple sclerosis.
That could be.
Okay. Experience missed the question. Tim, you were right.
I know he had a cleft palate.
His mother and father were brother and sister.
Okay. Yeah.
King Tut's parents were closely related.
You want to know?
Experience over zero asks what the question was. The question was, what was the primary reason for King Tut's disabilities? He says, oh fuck, I would have had that.
So reverse question time.
Okay.
Do you know the big reason why King Tut is famous?
No.
Out of all of the Egyptian emperors, why we know the most of King Tut?
Would it be that his grave wasn't robbed?
That's exactly what it was. His grave was robbed by English explorers instead of Egyptian treasure hunters.
Makes a bunch of sense. Gemini had the same thing because his tomb was intact. Excellent.
Experience.
Right? So,
voice to text.
The next one. Winston Churchill had a penchant for whiskey. Bourbon specifically. Penchant, that's the one. He very, very much into bourbon. And cigars. How much into cigars do you think he was? Do you have a guesstimate of number of cigars that he would go through a day?
Yeah, like 12.
Let's see who can get closest. Experience says I'm super.
Yeah, I'd say I'm just gonna say 12.
Right.
Winston Churchill, experience. The Prime Minister of Britain during World War II.
How many cigars do you think he would smoke a day? This one's a number one, so we can get, easy into it.
Right.
Gemini, do you have a guess? Gemini says 6. Experience over 0 says 10. And Tim says 12. The answer is 10.
Okay.
10 full-sized cigars every day.
Yeah, I knew that he was very, very much a cigar smoker. Like, you would practically never see him without a cigar in his mouth and a glass of bourbon in his hand.
Right. On this podcast, we refer to prostitutes as mercenary women. Right? They're also known as hookers. Do you know why?
I have a guess, but it's very un-PC.
Gemini says it's because they crochet a lot. Here's where experience over 0 just copy pastes the Google result.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I don't know.
Okay. The answer.
However, real quick, experience. I will take you up on that offer. I do like a good cigar every now and then.
The answer is that hooker originated with Civil War General Joseph Hooker, who brought along prostitutes on his war campaigns for all of his men.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's one way to keep up morale.
Correct. All right. In Spain, people used to use torture called the Spanish donkey. Do you know what that torture entailed?
Oh, this sounds very familiar. And I think it's an apparatus that was kind of like almost looked like a pommel horse or something like that you were strapped to.
Okay.
But I can't remember what else was involved.
Experience over zero says if it was Mexico, I would say I do. All right, Gemini, you have a good time. You are super close, Tim. Close enough, I'm going to give it to you. It is
Yay!
Straddling a board while torturers tie heavy weights to your legs.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was built kind of like the horse that you were talking about. You know, the...
right.
Yeah.
The pommel horse.
Pommel horse, yeah. Sounds like a sex thing in 2020. Look, there totally is. I've seen pictures. All right. What was the next one here? All right. There's some of these that were not very entertaining. So.
Right.
Experiences I fucking missed you guys on Twitch. Well, we should be back every 2 weeks now that we've got a plan of action and are ready to go, and I'm not publishing a book for about a month.
Right.
All right. So before alarm clocks, we had knockers up.
Oh, I know this.
What besides can you tell me? Oh, not Horatio, thank you very much for that subscription. Apparently Twitch has ignored my request to be removed from their system, but as soon as they figure out I'm multi-streaming, they'll take care of that for me.
Right.
But I super appreciate that, not Horatio. I very excited.
Here you go, boys.
Excellent. Well, not Horatio, if you feel like playing, we are doing a Chat versus Tim history quiz. And we're doing well. It's pretty even. It's 2-2 now. Right? That's what I had
I think so.
on my fingers. I've got that there. Anyway. Thank you very much for 100 of the finest bits. I appreciate those bits very much. So, knockers up. Can just not to ratio. I don't know how much you heard of this one. Before there were alarm clocks, we had knockers up. Can you name 2 of the 3 ways that they would wake people up?
Oh, maybe
Right.
I don't have this one. I know that one of them is a long pole where they would tap on your window.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing another one is gotta be a bell of some sort that they would ring for like a large group, kind of almost like a dinner bell, but more the wake up in the morning, you bastards.
Excellent. Well, looks like chat and you are both at two out of the 3. So wrapping on a long pole is what you got. It was the one that you got.
Right.
The long pole and wrapping on the window. The stones I will give them for the dried pea shooter that they would use to knock on your window, and the bell was definitely one that you got. So that's a tie question for everybody.
Hooray!
It came in a couple of seconds after you said something, so with the lag from the Right.
Right.
But yeah, they used to use a pea shooter, a blowgun that shot dried peas at windows, and be like, ting, ting.
Well, yeah, there's not enough mass on a dried pea to really break a window.
Oh, interesting fact that I learned on Facebook of all places today. Did you know that the first alarm clock was a candle?
Yes, I did. There's a ball bearing hidden inside a candle, and when the candle burned down enough, the ball bearing would fall out into the piece of china or wherever it was sitting on and make a ting sound.
Right. And nails, yeah. Oh yeah, Experience posted that. I just remember seeing that in my pre-coffee times this morning. So, the next question that I've got, you guys are still 2-2 because that last one was a tie, right?
That was a tie.
Right. So let's see. Other than being an actor, former president Ronald Reagan also was really good at another job. Do you know what it was?
I don't. I feel like I should, but I don't.
We give Chad a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
Robbing poor people. Governor of California. All right, we've got a couple of guesses here. The answer is he was a prolific lifeguard, credited with saving over 77 people from drowning.
Huh. Cool. I mean, other than robbing poor people, because he did that too.
Exactly, very much so.
I wouldn't take robbing poor people as a job, more like a hobby.
Right, 0.5 points to Chad. So, Korean dictator Kim Jong-il had his own share of hidden talents. Care to take a guess at how many operas he composed while he was supreme dictator?
Totally a guess. I'm gonna go with 9.
All right. What do we got, Chad? How do you feel? What's your guess? Your number guess? Fuck, no clue. No, it's just it's 150,
150?
45.
You think he composed 150? Woo!
Right. So the answer goes to Tim because it is 6. He composed 6 operas while he was in office. Tim was off by 3.
Here's the $1 million question: were they any good?
I don't know. He didn't say they were good.
Right. That's the kicker.
Right.
I could compose 9 operas. They're gonna be terrible.
So that makes it 3 to 2.5. The Anglo-Zanzibar War was the shortest war in history. Care to guess how long?
The Anglo-Zanzibar War?
Yep.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, chat. Experience over 0 says 1 hour.
Like, I'm guessing it was a pretense. Like, wasn't an actual war. They declared war and then immediately declared peace because it allowed them to do something else.
Not Horatio says 2 days. The answer goes to experience over 0 because he's just a little bit closer than you. It was 38 minutes.
Oh, God damn it. Just closer.
So that's going to be 3 to 3.5. So there are 2 animals associated heavily with the spread of the Black Death, the bubonic plague. One of them is rats. Do you know what the other one is?
Fleas?
All right.
Yep, there's old experience over zero using the shotgun method.
Right. Right. And he is correct. It is rats and cats. The Pope had declared cats to be a threat to mankind, and they were in mass executions, thus unable to keep the rat population down.
I would like to point out in terms of accuracy on that question, you kind of do have to ask from the viewpoint of right after the Black Death or these days, because these days rats aren't really considered the carriers; it's fleas.
Well, true, but I mean, like, in all of, you know, in the fleas aren't technically an animal; they're an insect. If you get weird,
insects are animals.
Well, if you go by genus,
they're not a plant and they're not a fungus.
They are a mineral.
I stand corrected.
Correct. All right. Can you name 2 illnesses that back in the day a doctor would prescribe heroin for?
Oh. I mean, there's got to be more than one, more than 2 illnesses of this.
Right, very much so. I just picked a number of how many of them. I've got a small list.
I'm going to say headaches and fever.
All right. Ghosts in the blood and common cold. All right. I'm going to call it there. You're both right. So, ghosts in the blood being that would essentially be bad blood, right? And common cold, and you said fever and headache, right? So fever, headache, coughs, bad blood, diarrhea, and
that's exactly what you need when you have diarrhea is heroin,
right? And tiredness.
That's about right. So basically everything.
Right.
Are you sick? Heroin.
You got ghosts in the blood. Take some drugs about it, right? All right. Let's see. What's the next one here? Oh. In 1929, researchers at Princeton University created an interesting telephone. What was it made out of?
In 1929?
Mm-hmm.
Made a telephone
out of something.
Interesting material.
It has been mentioned on this show already. Experience says I missed the question because I sneezed. 1929, Princeton University made a telephone out of something. That something has been mentioned on this show already, and Stormsteel says, "Go changing the channel on me." Freak me out. I had to do a rebranding.
Maybe that's why we haven't seen October for a while.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna say glass. That's all I got.
Experience over zero. What do you think that this was made out of? It Gonna say animals. I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more precise. Oh, Stormsteel with a subscription. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought those were turned off, so I didn't click the button for mine.
Oh, yeah. They're turned on, but it's just because I'm waiting. It'll let me know when Twitch has finally kicked me out of the program.
Right.
Experience says cat guts were made into violin strings, so that's my basics. And the answer is cats. They made a telephone out of a living cat.
When did we talk about this?
We talked about cats.
Oh. Wow.
Right? So Stormsteel, just to catch you up, we are doing, because Tom is unexpectedly injured. Like, he got injured at work today. So we have a little thing for him here. Let me get it here. It'll take just a second.
The angels.
Right. So Tom, Dr. Tom, our good friend, he's been injured and was unable to make it today. So in his honor, we are having a little bit of a game show where chat is trying to see if they can out history Tim. That was excellent. Every time I get to play that song for Tom makes me happy.
Not me, because then I can't hear you.
Well, that's true. Happens. Experience asks if we can give you music to play. Maybe in a bit. Maybe in a bit. We've got history to go on, and Stormsteel, you can help.
Disseminate.
Right. So
what the fuck is a cat phone?
Well, you'll have to look up Princeton University cat phone. Well, let's take a learning break. Princeton University cat phone. The cat telephone.
Sedated the cat and opened its skull to better access the auditory nerve. Telephone wire was attached to the nerve, and the other end of the wire was connected to a telephone receiver. Bray would speak in the cat's ears, while Weaver would listen through the receiver 50 feet away in a soundproof room. The common notion during this time was that the frequency of the response of a sensory nerve is correlated to the intensity of the stimulus. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's fucked up.
Yep.
All right. I learned a thing.
They were particularly interested in the practical uses of their discovery.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Back to the questions. So, dentistry has a long history of just absolute horror. For a long time, they would use wooden prosthetics, sometimes clay prosthetics, sometimes sheep's teeth. But can you tell me where the most popular source of replacement teeth came from?
Oh.
Really good money was paid for these.
Guessing other people. Like cadavers, almost.
Right?
Possibly from live donors.
It's darker than that. It's a bit darker than that. Experience over zero says gold.
So they were stolen.
Kind of.
Like people knocked out and robbed of their teeth.
Right? Stormsteel says gotta be monkeys. Everybody's real close. The answer is dead soldiers.
So cadavers.
Right?
Okay.
Yep. Stormsteel says, "Oh, good call, Tim." Seen in Les Mis about this, right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was the scene in Les Mis. That's specifically about taking the gold teeth. I believe the line is, "Here's a bit of gold stuck into a tooth."
Right. Experience Over Zero really wants me to play a song, so I'm gonna do that here.
Apparently. Am I gonna? Is that then gonna be? I'm not gonna be able to hear you.
I should be able to turn it down enough.
Well, the problem isn't that it's loud. The problem is that you become staticky. I cannot hear you at all. Your mic just like stops.
I can play it in the background for just chat. You won't hear it.
Okay, that'll work. That'll do.
That's always super easy. When I've got everything all the streaming stuff going, Facebook is the worst.
The devil.
It just does not want to load for shit. Here we go. There we go. Can you guys hear it all right in the background? All right, sounds great. Excellent. All right, all right. So... Alright, getting a little loud for me. Let's see if I
Get
get
wrecked,
it
son.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys a little story, and then I'm gonna have you guess something about it. In 1855, tensions between a visiting clown troupe and a group of firefighters came to a head at a popular brothel. The accounts are blurry, but most agree that the violence started when one of the firefighters knocked off a clown's hat, escalating things to a full-sized riot.
You're breaking up on me, man. I'm not hearing you.
Oh, are you not? I'm not streaming it to you, so it shouldn't be a big issue.
Not hearing you.
Not hearing me at all?
There we go. Yeah,
Okay.
before I wasn't hearing you at all, but that sentence I just heard loud and clear.
That might actually be on your side because, I don't know. Let me know if I was cutting out at all, chat. Are you guys hearing me cut out?
You just cut out at me a little bit there in that sentence.
Just waiting on chat, see if they say anything about it. Apparently on chat, I am sounding all right. So it's your side that's having a bit of an issue. Or it's Skype having a bit of an issue.
I think it's Skype having a bit of an issue that I think the music is what's killing it. Because it was fine when this music wasn't playing.
Well, I've got... Let me know if it's still being an issue as we go. All right?
Will do.
Okay. So I'm going to start over. In 1855, tensions between a visiting clown troupe and a group of firefighters came to a head in a popular brothel. The accounts are blurry, but most agree that the violence started when one of the firefighters knocked off one of the clown's hats. Escalating things into a full-size riot carried over into the next day, crowds of angry men sought their revenge on circus grounds, where carnival wagons were tossed into the lake and straight up set on fire. In the end, it was too dark to understand what really happened, and that became the faithful angry clown remains, and what became of the angry clowns remains a mystery. So it was a mass murder of clowns, right? By firefighters.
Okay, you're starting to break up on me again. I think I got most of that.
What did you miss?
I caught everything except like the very end of there was a mass murder of clowns.
Okay. So firefighters ended up killing a bunch of clowns.
Right.
Was this Russia, the U.S., or Canada?
Oh. You know what? Canada.
All right. That's going to tie that one up for you and chat because it was Canada.
Wow.
It's a famous information of the firefighter clown fight of Toronto in 1855.
Can't trust them Torontos.
Right? Okay, so
No experience. I was not looking at the chat because the chat's too much of a delay.
Right. I don't have a question for this one, but I just want to read this story real quick.
I'll allow it.
In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe published his only novel, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, which is a story about a set of shipwrecked sailors who end up drawing straws to see who gets eaten. In the end, a man named Richard Parker draws the short straw. 46 years later, a group of real-life men found themselves stranded when a 17-year-old boy among them fell violently ill. With his odds of survival low, the others chose to kill and eat him for their own survival. That boy's name was Richard Parker. It was the exact same name as the man in Edgar Allan Poe's storybook.
Huh. What a coincidence.
Right? So, you've heard the stories about raspberry flavoring, right?
Yeah.
And where that comes from.
Yeah.
What other use does the back end of a beaver have?
Like specifically that gland or...
Well, I'd say, okay, so it was used traditionally for another medicinal purpose.
Oh, okay.
Experience over zero says cologne. You can get another guess because I really revealed in for more information about it being medicinal.
I'm gonna go with a hair balm.
Hair balm.
I don't think it's right, but that's what I'm gonna say.
Right. Experience over zero is closer. Beaver testicles were used as a form of ingestible birth control.
Huh.
They were served dried in a strong alcoholic solution, and it was supposedly a way to have safer sex. But
You totally did not call that experience. Don't pull this called it shit.
right?
No, you said the first thing that came to your mind because you're a dude.
$20 is $20. Okay. Egyptians had a special use for honey, and it wasn't putting on bread or in your tea. Do you know what it was, Tim? And do you know what it was, chat? Adhesive?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The same thing as the beaver.
Awesome.
The answer was that they would smother themselves in it.
It's like an insect repellent or something?
The exact opposite. They would attract the insects to themselves and away from their royal masters.
Wow. Okay.
Flies and other insects would go towards the honey-covered peasants and stay away from old Tutankhamun. All right. Let's see. Honey was used as a birth control, too. I mean, most liquids could probably be used as a birth control. You stick enough stuff places, it'll ruin everything. Religious question.
Uh-oh.
John, now don't Google this one, but John 11:35 is the shortest verse in the Bible. Tim, can you tell me what that is? Or chat?
Yeah. I'm gonna say he lives.
He lives. Experience over 0. What do you got? The fermented lactic acid. That's a pretty short verse. Something fucked up. I'm actually going to give it to Tim. You're the closest, in my opinion. At 2 words long.
What, you mean the Bible didn't say, quote unquote, something fucked up?
Right? Jesus wept. It's John 11:35, the shortest verse in the Bible. So, in 1920s, there was a revival of the Ku Klux Klan. During that time, unlike never before seen, there was a large sect of women who joined the Klan. Can you tell me what the 4-letter abbreviation for their subgroup was?
Oh.
Avon.
Or possibly just KKKK.
Experience over 0. If you didn't hear, in 1920 there was the GNAA. Don't look that up. I won't. It was WKKK. It was the women of the Ku Klux Klan.
Wow.
They were very creative.
Way to be so creative there, lady.
Right. Hold on here. Tips Fedora.
There it is.
Okay. What? Okay. Just letting you know, being crafty with this one. In 1820, in Salem, New Jersey, they put a fruit on trial. Do you know what fruit was put on trial?
But you're being crafty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Experience says corn and potato.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say strawberry because that's a fruit.
Right? Wait, those are veggies.
Actually, no. I think I'm gonna say banana.
Banana. All right. Experience over 0 finally got it. It was tomato.
I would have got it too if I'd had 5 guesses.
They were put on trial for being poisonous. Wanting to prove the township wrong, Robert Johnson stood before the populace and ate an entire basket of tomatoes. Shockingly, he did not die, and the red fruit was exonerated.
I will. There is a slight truth in that the leaves of tomatoes are slightly poisonous.
Right. Members of the Nightshade family don't eat the green. So, the current United States flag with 50 stars on it, when it was originally created, was submitted by a high school teenager named Robert G. Heft. Can you guess what grade he got on his flag project?
D.
D. Experience says F. That's going to give it to Tim. The answer is B minus.
Okay.
Congress accepted his lackluster project, and the teacher was forced to give him an A.
Awesome. It's our experience. Can't help it.
Right?
It's all up to chance, man.
Right.
I don't decide what those roles are going to be.
Speaking of, we've covered a couple of different presidents and their other jobs. Can you tell me what other job Abraham Lincoln was famous for?
Wasn't he a lawyer?
He was a bit more famous for something else.
Okay.
Slaves.
No, I don't know.
All right.
I mean, I could throw out a guess of a musician, but it's just a guess.
Stormsteel says Vampire Slayer. So, the answer is professional wrestler.
Oh, I have heard of this.
Displays of strength and bravery were super important in the 19th century, and Lincoln and his supporters played up his track record of beating up bullies throughout Abe's career. Years later, his exploits earned him an induction to the National Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Huh.
But, like, you know, actual wrestler. Vicious Persona, thank you very much for that subscription. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Not Horatio says Liechtenstein follows a policy of neutrality and is one of the few countries in the world that maintain no military. The army was abolished soon after the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, and in Liechtenstein fielded an army of 80 men. I've heard this one quite a few times before. Mm-hmm. Although they were not involved in any fighting, no casualties incurred. In fact, the unit numbered 81 upon return, due to an Italian joining up with the unit to escape the war zone. They left with and came back with more men than they left with.
Perfect.
Right?
That's like the best war.
Right? Right? Our emotes are the best. That's all about those Illuminatis, bro. Okay. Couple more questions here. Other than falsely claiming to have discovered India, Christopher Columbus also in 1493 claimed to discover something else. Turns out that was also not real. Do you know what it was, Tim? In chat, can you guess what else he claimed to have discovered?
In 1490?
1493. He published several booklets about it.
I'm just going to throw out a guess of China.
Okay.
or something like that.
Experience over zero says Cuba, Jamaica Islands, America, gay agenda. The answer is mermaids.
Oh.
He was disappointed by their lack of beauty and called them not as pretty as were depicted, for somehow they in the face they look like men. It is generally accepted that what he found was manatees.
Manatees?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, as soon as you're like not as pretty, I'm like, he landed near southern like United States. Did he see manatees?
Right. Not Horatio totally got it with Atlantis experience, it says. All right, so that'll put you guys up to 4 and Tim to 7. So 4 to 7.
Don't feel bad, chat. It's almost like I do a history podcast.
Right? The Seattle Police Department. Actually, let me get a date here.
I'll allow it.
Okay. In 1975, the Seattle Police Department had a brand new hero that they were working with. The man detained a purse snatcher and just a few weeks before rescued a child from drowning. They were a little bit angry when they had to go and arrest him because of the fact that he killed so many people. Can you guess who that was? So, Seattle, 1975, killed a bunch of people.
And you said 1975?
Yep. This will be a hard question.
I'm guessing these are accidental murders. I don't know who it is.
All right. Experience, do you have anything? He says, fuck.
I don't think that's correct.
Right. The answer is Ted Bundy.
Oh, okay.
Famous serial killer Ted Bundy also saved a small boy from drowning and caught a purse snatcher right before he was caught.
Wow.
Okay.
What can I say? I just don't know that much about serial killers.
Right. And here is the last question. Chat really has no ability to win here, but I'm still going to ask. Take a guess at when the year was that the last Civil War widow died.
Oh. Still alive.
Okay. Experience is a question for anyone's girlfriend.
But
right.
Yeah, like in the 2000s, I think.
Not Horatio says 1992. Experience over zero says 2008, and TigerCast says 1950. Welcome to the show, TigerCast. Or Tiger Cat. Cat. Sorry. Tim, you want to give me like I just need you to pick a year. Pick a year.
2005.
2005. That would make you the closest to 2003. He said some time in the 2000s.
Right.
Let me underbet him. $1 Bob. So that would make it 8-4. Tim has beaten the chat.
Woo!
Right? Excellent. Okay. So now that we've got a few other people watching, I'm going to cover a couple of things that I covered at the beginning of the show today. One,
Yeah.
Tom is not here today because he got hurt. It took us a while to figure that out. We finally figured out what was going on. We were worried that he was dead, but he's not dead. And so he'll be back soon. Going forward with the podcast, what we're going to be doing in the year 2020 is every month we are going to cover a new decade. This month we are covering the aught hundreds, and it'll be a little bit of a rushed job because we've only got one more episode of this podcast this month. So it'll be us learning how to do it. Experience Over Zero says, I want in. You know, maybe I can fit something in. Maybe I can get a third person on the or a third guest on the podcast. Could be a pretty fun for the dumb answer team. It'd be pretty good. I do know that he's got a professional microphone and everything else that I require in order to be on this show.
Yeah.
Now, so,
I don't see any reason why we couldn't have a guest host every now and then.
Yeah, I'm down. So next month we'll be covering the 2010 or the 1910s, then the 1920s, then the 1930s, and each month we'll do one episode on this is what that decade was like. And then we'll also find one interesting thing about that decade and do a whole episode on that. So,
like, I'm guessing the 1910s and the 1940s. I'm not exactly sure if we're gonna cover the World Wars because we're not gonna have enough time to do the whole World War. No way.
No, but we'll definitely have interesting information on those, and maybe some sort of interesting. Right. Because, I mean, we've done the stuff on the World Wars before, like when we did Wojciech and... Right?
And Sergeant Billy?
And Sergeant Bill. So here... Let me get a thing here real quick. Okay, nope, it's not happening. All right, so that is where we're moving forward with. Tonight's episode, I had planned to have Tom and Tim do a bit more of what we've been doing so far, but he, unfortunately, we didn't have.
Yeah, got injured.
Right? So
real life has reared its ugly head.
Correct. I'm a little bit out of content, Tim.
Well, that happens, man.
It rolled in real fast.
You've only got one side host, which means you only have half the banter.
Right. We slowed down a little bit, but Experience Over Zero. I'm gonna hit you up after this show, and we will get everything good to go because there is a couple of more things that being on this show now entails. Like you got to record yourself.
Right.
And I'll get you all started with that. But yeah. I think that's all that we've got for today. We managed to get an hour and 15 minutes out of one person grinding through the stuff that I had ready for two. So, right. But I mean,
right.
I don't really want to, just sit here going for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's boring, and there are better things that other people can be doing with their time. I'd rather put out quality content,
right,
and make sure that we pad out 2 hours.
Right. I gotta get up at fucking like 7:30 tomorrow. I got so much shit to do.
I was planning on getting up at like 9.
Right. Well, I've gotta roll other places before I go out to the site for Dead Zone.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
Boo-hoo, I woke up at 5 a.m.
I mean, I'm waking up at 6:30 every Tuesday and Thursday now because of school. Damn it.
I can do that, Zero. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we could check it. Last time we checked it, it seemed doing just fine.
Right. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is not at all how this show normally goes. This is we're usually like 2 hours of informational, well-researched topics. But this month I was publishing a book, starting a company, doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I wanted to get back online and do something today, and then other things occurred too. So, all right, everybody.
It is what it is, my man.
I think that's all we've got for today. I have stretched it out long enough. If you want to see what our show is about, usually head to masshistoria.libsyn.com or find us on Twitter. We've got all our links there. If you're on Twitch, you can see our links down below. There is... Thank you very much for the 100 bits again. Just being a baller.
Yep.
So check out our edited podcasts. They are fucking funny. Like, I have trouble getting through editing our own podcasts because we make some really, really dumb jokes sometimes.
We do.
Yeah. There was sometimes just the time in between the recordings is some of the funniest. But
right.
All right, everybody. That is all we've got for tonight. We will talk to you next time.